Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Amalia Shalihin A. And here I would like to present my draft on research seminar proposal with the title Revisiting Culture in Indonesian ELT Context, a Case Study at International School. So this is the overview what we are going to discuss later. So the first is introduction. The introduction contains background of study, research question, objective of the study, scope and limitation, significance of study, and definition of key term. And then the second is theoretical framework. It contains about related of literature review and then the previous study. And third is research methodology. It is contain research design or approach, research setting, data collection technique, and data analysis technique, and also data validity. So in introduction, first we discuss about background of the study. In Indonesia, it has been recognized that learning English is required for all students from junior high school to university. English is not only employed as a subject that only gets utilized in the classroom, it also used extensively in context outside of the classroom. This approach is typically used in international school. Every activity and the teaching learning process are carried out in English. And in using and learning language, especially a foreign language, it seems inaccurate and incomplete without studying the culture. Mastering a language is not only done by understanding how to use the structure and vocabulary in the language well, but also understanding the culture used by the language. And language and culture are inseparable since language is a component of culture and communicates the rules, values, standpoint, and behavior of its speaker. Due to language being inextricably tied to the culture of the people who speak it, students also learn about the culture of the language they are learning. If students are exposed to a target language and have basic understanding of its culture, they will learn it more effectively. So, based on the several reasons that I have mentioned on background of the study, this research will entitled Revisiting Target Cultures in Indonesian ELT Context, a case study at international school. From the background, researcher formulates several questions, and first is what are English cultural expressions that are implemented in schools environment, and the second is what EFL teachers do on integrating teaching learning about English culture into the EFL classroom. So here are the objectives of the study. The objective of the study are first to investigate the English culture expression that is applied in the school environment. And the second is to find out how teachers provide target culture content in EFL classroom learning at. And here we move to the second chapter, which is theoretical framework. First, we discuss about literature review. In literature review, I have some point to discuss. First is definition of culture, and the second is themes of culture, and next is previous study. In here, I attach several previous study. The first is from Muhammad et al. Examines about the target culture included in a junior high school English textbook used by many teachers in Indonesia, and they stated that one way to bring culture into the classroom is to integrate into the textbook. And the second is from Houni and Bujelal. They conducted a study to investigate the effect that teaching English language culture has on Algerian EFL learners' social cultural competence. And the third is from Debu et al. Conducted research about students, teachers, and students' attitude towards the integration of the target culture in the English is foreign. And then we move to another chapter, which is research methodology. The first is research design and approach that the researcher use is a case study. Because this research is focused on a very specific interest, the researcher use case studies. The researcher seeks details of interaction with its environment and the activities of EFL teaching learning process integrated with target culture. The English cultures that are implemented in school environments are of particular interest in this research. And then next is research setting. The place and the study took place in Surabaya Intercultural School, and the time is in early February 2024, and the study was conducted. And here we discuss about data and research data. First is data. The data from the study are information and description of the use of English culture in the classroom and the environment. And in addition, the teacher's role in integrating the target culture into the EFL classroom. And this data were collected through the results of conducting interview, observation, and documentation. And the data source first is person. The data can be gotten by interviewing the subject, and the people that will interview for this research are teachers and students who are implementing English in culture in international school. And the second is place. The place for conducting this research is Surabaya Intercultural School. And then the third is paper. Paper is resources of the data that deals with symbol, picture, the document, and for the data collecting instrument, we use observation. Researchers observe aspects of the English culture used in the environment as well as the teacher's role in integrating the target culture in the classroom. And the second, we use interview as a supporting uh, instrument. The interview is used to obtain data from the teachers and students. And third is documentation. The researcher gathered documentation as proof that the researcher conducted the investigation and to back up the interview and observation. Here the documents included pictures and video. And the next is data analysis technique. In here the researchers use several techniques. First is data condensation. The researcher will choose data from interview with teachers and students as well as resources used in English language education for this study. And then the second is data display. A display is a visual format that delivers information in a systematic manner so that viewers may draw conclusion and take appropriate action. And the third is conclusion drawing and verification. In this study, the researcher will develop conclusion and validate the data by comparing interview and I think it's all from us. I do apologize if I have a mistake. Thank you for your attention and see you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi